up, everybody?
I'm still playing that music,
Yo,
man.
not even that right. I'm over here sitting. Okay, yeah. So we got new music this season. It's our third season. We wanted to try to do something different this year. We have a new background. Everything is just very new. We're new, y'all. Hope everybody like it. What's up, everyone? Hi, Robyn. How you doing? This is Tea Time with Robyn. My bad.
It is. And it's episode 67.
Yes. Moving right
I
on.
still cannot believe, please, we're going on our third year. I'm telling you what, I can't believe it.
I know.
The time goes by fast. Oh, hi, Chris. Yay. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, Chris.
So I'm doing fine. I'm ready for training camp. I'm
Me
sure
too.
everybody's ready for training camp. And I'm just so happy to be with my girlfriend here because I got to tell you, I missed you.
I
I
know. I miss talking to you too. Like even though we do conversate. Like last week, we was like, we're gonna have to have some type of meeting so I can see you, so we can talk. Um. So yeah,
So here
that
we are.
and
Let's
here we
talk.
are. Let's talk about our Buffalo Bills. It's It's training camp. The rookies reported yesterday. The vets will report next week on the 23rd. I listened to Eric Wood's podcast, and he stated that he was going to speak to the rookies sometime this week, which I'm curious to see and hear what he said. You know what I mean? Like going from college, and I know I didn't put this in the notes. I just wanted to, just talk about it for a little bit. Coming from college and going into this NFL first season, expectations. We've talked about. I just learned that Dalton Kincaid was injured going into his rookie season. He had a back issue, and I've always said that rookies coming to their first year, they're going to be nicked up a little bit because they're coming from college and they don't have the time to just rest their bodies. It's not really an off season for them.
Right. It
You
isn't.
know?
That's right. They go right from the draft and the lead up to the draft, the combine, all of that. They just don't stop. And so I think mentally they're as exhausted as they are physically. And we talk about the wall, the wall that they hit because the game is much longer. The season, excuse me, is much longer in professional football than it is in college. And
Right.
so I do think they feel a level of burnout. So when they come in to training camp, and I think Sean McDermott is very good at this, he understands, and much more so now than I think when he was a rookie head coach. He knows how important it is for his team to be mentally rested.
Yes.
And he makes that an important part of the plan with the trainers, etc. The players are well rested. He rests the vets. A lot of the older vets, they don't practice on Fridays. They get a veteran rest day, that sort of thing, because he recognizes that there needs to be mental rest as well as physical rest. And with rookies, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine having the playbook handed to you? Oh, here, just learn this.
And they said the playbook is so complex. Like it's, even though it was, again, speaking or listening to Eric Wood's podcast, they were talking about, because Joe Brady was on there, and how he tried to tweak some of the stuff that he got from Ken Dorsey. Ultimately was still Ken Dorsey's, playbook, but he put in different, I guess, words in it to make it seem, different routes to make it seem like it wasn't the same playbook as Ken Dorsey's. Interesting podcast when it came to Bobby Babich again, which I love him, and Joe Brady. But speaking of Joe Brady in this offense, how many wide receivers do you think they will keep? And what is your 5 or 6 wide receivers this year? And Chris, we are going to answer, because Chris has some some questions up here in the comments, and we're going to get to your your questions as well too. But what are your 5 or maybe 6 wide receivers?
Well, I'm going to come straight up and say it's 6 and it's
Okay.
non-negotiable. I see 6 players that I would find no reason to exclude from the 53-man roster. Obviously, Keon Coleman, okay. Shakir, obviously. Mac Hollis, I'll talk about him in a second. Curtis Samuel, MVS, and Chase Claypool. That's 6. And those 6 are the 6 that I want to see on the 53-man roster because I think those 6 will be just fine without somebody saying somebody's got to be wide receiver number 1. No, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because these 6 have a varying degree of physical ability. And I think that Joe Brady can do some very creative things with each and every one of them. Now, I specifically want to mention something about Mac Hollis because Mac Hollis might be the one that people would say, oh, well, he's old. We don't really need him, blah, 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 blah. Oh, but we do. Because from what we understand from the media, excuse me, the wide receiver room is being led by Mac Hollis. He's the veteran wide receiver in the room.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to take that guy out of the equation. You need him in the room, especially if you don't have a wide receiver number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I see what Chris is saying. I do think that you're right. Shakir is underrated. I think
Mm-hmm.
he could be a number 1 wide receiver. And besides all this conversation we're having about this, please, we have Dalton Kincaid. He is our number 1 wide receiver
Mm-hmm.
until proven otherwise, in my opinion. So there.
Okay,
That's what I
I'm not
think.
mad at you. Chris also said Bills have good tight ends, Kincaid and Knox. I'm with you. I think you and I have matched when it comes to wide receiver. Like Curtis Samuel, um, Coleman,
Yes.
Shakir, Hollins. I have 5. I don't have 6. So
Who you got?
I either have Claypool or MVS. You can flip flop those ones for me.
Gotcha.
When it comes to
That's fair.
Claypool, I don't know how I feel about Claypool because now I don't know if Claypool is if it's an attitude thing
Mm-hmm.
or if it's his if his play dropped. Is it because of the teams that he was on, or is it just
Hubris.
he's 26, right?
He's young, but
And what the hell happened? Like, I really want to know what happened to Chase Claypool. Right, mentally. Right.
that's what happened to him. He came out of college thinking he was big stuff and got a reality check. Welcome to the NFL moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him a minute. It took him a couple of teams and
Yeah.
almost out of the league to get to the point where he is at now, which is you're on your last legs. And let me tell you, I don't think that there's a better coach, head coach, if you will, in the NFL to deal with somebody that has a problem with their ego than
Yeah.
Sean McDermott because he
Well,
won't tolerate that.
I'll say this about Sean McDermott and Chase Claypool. I think when it was off season OTAs, Sean McDermott, I don't know if he made an effort to say that Chase Claypool is willing to play special teams. He's willing to put in that effort. I don't know if this was a play for him to say, hey, I'm batting for you. So maybe straighten up because I can see
Totally.
potential in you. You're 26 years old. You're still young. You know, you're in your 20s. So
You're talented.
you're
If you get
talented. You
if you get
still
out of your
have
own head,
exactly.
if you get out
Exactly.
of your own head and you start playing for a team like a team, the Bills are a
Mm-hmm.
family oriented team. That's different, maybe, than
Right.
than what he was exposed to before. But this is his last. ditch effort to make
And
it
I
in
know
the
the running joke is you guys got Chase Claypool. He's been on every team, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I get it. I mean, the Buffalo Bills might be the laughing stock when it comes to wide receivers. Okay, awesome. It's going to maybe be a wide receiver by committee. Okay, cool. It may come from Curtis Samuel to Shakir. We don't know who's the number one. And I don't think they're even going to say who the number one wide receiver is in this offense. It might be Curtis Samuel.
Why do they have to?
It might be Curtis Samuel one week, like you said. It might be Shakir next. It might be Dalton Kincaid. It might be whoever the case may be.
It's the matchups, baby. It's all about the matchups.
It's all about matchups. Thank you. So we know there's a lot of pressure going into this upcoming season. The article, Robyn. Not the article, because I don't know if it was an article.
No, but also we have to talk about Joe Brady or Josh Allen, who has more pressure on them.
Oh, my bad. Did I skip? My bad.
So dare skip that question.
I know. The pressure is on. The pressure is on. We're moving on to the offense. The pressure's on. Is it Josh Allen or Joe Brady? Now we've seen.
Yeah.
We've seen what Joe Brady did, 8 games? The last 8 games, I think it was.
That's pressure.
We've seen what Josh Allen has done with not a lot of weapons when it comes to wide receivers. Mm-hmm. His rookie season, his second season, what is that? Third season, all right. You're getting me some guys, okay. We've seen what they both can do without the pieces. But now they're together. Who do you think has more pressure, Joe Brady or Josh Allen?
Well, in this situation, I'm going to say Josh Allen, straight up. Because Joe Brady came in, for one thing, he'll be technically like a rookie offensive coordinator. And I see you, Chris. But here's the thing about Joe Brady. He's got that. He still has a kind of free pass at this point because he hasn't been an offensive coordinator long enough to really render an opinion one way or another. So this is his moment, if you will. This is his time in the sun.
Right.
And I don't think that there's as much pressure on him because he's going to be given some leniency for the fact that he's a new offensive coordinator to some extent. Okay. Josh Allen, on the other hand, and I do want to talk about this because I think Josh Allen really has the heat under him this year.
Okay.
Because all this talk, and you brought it up, and we're going to talk about it next, the NFL executive that said that Josh Allen was overrated, blah, blah, whatever. That conversation is happening because Josh has never won a Super Bowl. If you look at his stats, and everybody's posting his stats against Mahomes and blah, 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 and they are somewhat comparable, okay? They're somewhat comparable with a couple of exceptions. Interceptions, which we all talked about with Josh Allen in terms of that's what you have to take with a gunslinger. But the other thing is Josh, he knows that for his legacy at this point, he's done everything but win a Super Bowl. Right. And so the heat is on him, kind of like it was, remember when Peyton Manning, before he won his first Super Bowl, the heat was starting to get on him as well. Everybody knew Peyton Manning, oh my God, great quarterback. Tom Brady, he'll never, Peyton Manning's never going to win a Super Bowl. Well, now we have Mahomes and Allen. And Mahomes is the Brady of the situation. Win, 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 all the big things.
Right.
Josh hasn't won jack yet. He's got to win a Super Bowl. And I think it's important for him to do it this year because I think it's really his legacy at stake. He knows it. And this year, of all the years in his career, it's everything has come together for him. His personal life, his professional life, he's maturing. He's a grizzled veteran quarterback now. it's like, what else does he have to do? He's got to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think the pressure's on him more.
I get what you're saying. Yes, quarterbacks are definitely judged by Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
Chris.
Um, I have to agree with Chris, and I say both. But if I would have to say more of it, would be Josh. A little bit more of Josh. I mean, like you said, Joe Brady has an out because you could say this is his first year, and Joe Brady, we also seen got fired from Carolina. I don't know if it was just because of. I mean, you need your pieces, and you're based on your pieces, and if you don't have those pieces, you're going to be based on them. So, I think it's definitely going to be Josh Allen because he needs to elevate this wide receiver room. If you're saying that you are this elite quarterback, right? The elite, then you as an elite quarterback should elevate this wide receiver room.
Yep.
I have no doubt that he cannot do it. Like, again, he's done it with, I don't want to call them guys off the street, but we've seen what Josh has done with not the level of wide receivers that we thought that he should
Kelvin
have.
Benjamin.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I agree. I agree that it's definitely on Josh Allen. I hate the fact that Josh Allen, it's the off season and Josh Allen gets so much of the attention of, I get he not the most ever since 2018 because Dak Prescott was in one of those. And I get everybody goes to his interceptions. I get that. But no one never goes to his touchdowns. The first thing that people do, Josh is reckless. Josh throw interceptions, but Josh also win games. Josh also throws touchdowns. Josh also is a baller. Like, we can't just say, well, Josh is, but let's talk about some positives with Josh. There's a lot of people in this NFL will take their right arm and throw it away to get Josh on as their quarterback. So saying that, I just want to play this little freaking ridiculous segue I did there, Robyn. This ridiculousness that I heard the other day. It pissed me off to no end. Let me see. I'm so pissed off I can't find it. Let me get it. Okay.
Play it safe. What an awful thing you could tell your kids in life is to play it safe. Don't elevate others. Don't take big swings. Be paralyzed by any mistake. The great point guards, the great quarterbacks, the great politicians, the great business people, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, often talk about the value of going forward, the process of learning from mistakes. Yes, Josh Allen throws some ugly picks, but over the 4 years that he's won the division, he's the most productive player in the history of the sport. And some knucklehead is saying, that guy's overrated. I'd argue he's underrated. He just doesn't quite have all the elements offensively that you need to beat maybe the greatest quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, the greatest coach, arguably Andy Reid of all time.
And I will leave that there because Josh is someone said, right, and I remind me of the guy that picked Josh in the draft. He was the only one. Remind me of that, please.
Was that names.
Oh, I know who. I forgot his name, but just remind me because I have a thing with that. Josh might be in the wrong decade. Like, we've gotten beat up by freaking Tom Brady and Bill Belichick forever. Tom left, and we're like, all right, here we go. The Buffalo Bills, we got Josh Allen. We're going to get it. We're doing it. And here comes freaking Patrick Mahomes and god dang Andy Reid. And here, Buffalo Bills fans, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Is this going to be another freaking Tom Brady and a damn Bill Belichick? Are you? No, it's not. No, I'm not taking it. I, as a fan, will not stand. I'm going to have to because I'm not going to be able to play. But I'm telling you, it's like, come on. But here's my thing with this, and I'll wrap it up with this. Kuiper.
That's right? Who it was. Mel.
Kuiper. Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper, when Josh Allen was drafted, he was the only one on the podium and said, he is going to be something. I can see it. If you can't see it, I'm telling you, he's going to be a star. He is going to be a good quarterback in this league. I'm telling you, people were saying that Josh Allen should be a linebacker. People were saying Josh Allen to be a tight end. I think what is going on right now, Robyn, people cannot get off of their opinion of Josh.
They're still stuck on Josh Rosen.
They still stuck on the fact that I told you Josh wasn't going to be something. Josh Allen wasn't going to be something, and he is.
I felt like Mel Kiper. I felt like Mel Kiper on Twitter because I told people.
And you told them too. My bad. You're in Wyoming.
I did. I watched him play for 3 years for the University of Wyoming, and you could see it. I have a really good friend that lives in Seattle who grew up on the east side of Buffalo, and we talk a lot. And I told him, I said, Dennis, just go to YouTube and check out this guy's highlights, okay? Just go look at highlights and tell me what you think. And Dennis knows how I am in terms of, I said, this guy has the it thing, the thing that you can't really put into a measurable category. He has it. And you could see it in him from the time that he only played like 3 games, I think, for the University of Wyoming in his sophomore year before he broke his clavicle. But I remember that game because I was like, holy shit, this guy's got a rocket arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go up, and I mentioned this in another podcast, he would go up and down the sidelines, working over the defense, telling everybody to get their shit together. I mean, it was impressive. And you can't measure heart. And this kid would take the team, a University of Wyoming team that was not SEC level talent, with no offensive line in front of him. And that's why he learned to run. He had to run for his life. Mm-hmm. But then he learned, oh my God, I can do this, right? Like I can run. And you don't want to take that away from him. Mm-hmm. You do not want to take that away from him. But that is who he is. And people did not see that. They were so stuck on, whoa, we're just going to go with the Josh Rosen. You know, where'd that get you? Where is Rosen now?
Yeah, it's on several different teams.
It was a huge gaffe by people that were not willing to open their minds because, he's not from the SEC.
Right. And I get what you're saying, Chris. As Bills fans, we know that Josh has came a long way from that hero ball.
Yes, he has.
A very long way. I would say his first maybe 3 seasons, he had to play that way because of what was surrounding him.
Right.
Does Josh go back to hero ball? I don't want to call it hero ball. I'm a fan that loves when Josh scrambles, and I don't want to take that edge away from him because we've seen it in the first freaking 6 games of the meek and mild Josh Allen. And us as fans was like, what the freak? Who is this guy? Take this guy, take him back to the locker room and bring in Josh Allen that we know. The one that jumps over freaking cornerbacks, the one that screams at his guys on the sideline. If you haven't seen a game from last year for the first 6 games, go back and watch Josh Allen when he goes and makes a great play. He goes and sits down and say, okay, great job, guys. That was the Josh we seen for first freaking 6 games. And the last few games, he got his hair cut, trimmed his mustache down. And I told Robyn, I said, I don't know who this guy is, but I think he needs a haircut. He needs to shape up or something. That guy, that's the guy I want.
Impressed.
Yeah, that's the guy I want. Not the hero guy. A little bit of him, but not a whole lot of him. Josh knows how to bring that. He knows how to do that now.
It's the sugar high Josh you're talking about. We call him sugar high Josh. And yeah, we don't want him. And I do think that he has that under control for the most part. I do worry about him going into the Super Bowl the first 5 minutes.
Oh, he's going to be. Somebody just hit him. Just hit him.
Oh, that's what he said, right? He wants somebody to let's just knock the crap out of him, please.
Yeah.
We don't
But
need
don't
you.
hit him to where
No.
he's concussed. Just and he won't even say he is because he probably will be out there like, no, I'm fine. I don't care what day it is. I'm gonna play, coach. But moving on, because I could talk about this subject because I'm so passionate when it comes to Josh Allen and people saying that the interceptions and all of that. And I just want people to understand that when Josh Allen, I'll say this, the first game, yes, that was Josh Allen. That Jet game, I don't know what he was doing there because all he had to do was take the checkdowns. They were giving him the game, and Josh wanted to be
Hero.
this
That's a
hero guy.
ball.
That was hero ball, Josh Allen. If he would have just took the check downs and took what the defense was giving him, that game was his. But Josh was high on something. I'm not saying he was high on drugs. Don't get me wrong. He was high on emotions and just wanted to be the lights, the camera, September 11th. It was a lot. But yes. But moving on to, do you believe this organization chooses talent over culture?
I think this organization is an organization with Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane who emphasize culture more than any other head coach, general manager combination that I've ever seen. And I do believe that their model has been replicated in other places. I think Dayball has taken a lot of that element with him to the Giants. I think we see the Jets, and Robert Saleh has talked about that methodology of developing team as a family. And I believe he's tried to emulate that. I think Brian Flores, when he was coaching the Miami Dolphins, I believe he was trying to implement that in their organization, and it didn't fly for whatever reason. But I absolutely think that Buffalo Bills are, excuse me, leaders when it comes to the emphasis that they place on culture. Now, are they going to take a player that's less talented? No, but if the talent level is somewhat equal, if it's even in the neighborhood, they're going to take the guy that fits the culture before they're going to take a guy that doesn't. Now, having said that, Chase Claypool does not fit what I would typically say is a guy that you would expect them to sign to the roster. But I believe what they've done with him is basically challenged him and said, look at dude, if you even have any hope to make the team, your attitude better change.
Right.
And I think that that's the challenge that they're taking on with him. But I think they do that in a very surgical and precise way. And I don't think that they load up on players that are going to be problems.
I say that too because Chris had put in there, and I'll say this: we really don't talk about Stephon Diggs anymore because he's not on our team. But I'll give you this: when we talked about culture and talent over culture, when it came to Diggs, my concern was culture for him. Did he fit the culture of the Buffalo Bills? Was he going to come in here and demand, like suck the air out of a room? Was he going to come in here and do? And he didn't for the first 3 years. He didn't. Like 3.5 years, he didn't. I just think something happened along the way where they did not see eye to eye anymore, and I think Ken Dorsey might have been the scapegoat for that per se. And even when he was gone, I think Diggs was still unhappy. And you can't make a person happy if they're unhappy. If they already decided, I want to leave here, I need to get away, I can't, whatever. These are my words, not his. And that was just it. Like, if you need your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, to be the face, to be the mouthpiece, to be everything when it comes to this organization. And I can't have someone over here, for lack of a better word, disrupting that. And that's In my opinion, I think that's what
Mhm.
happened. Um,
I think you're right.
yeah. So
You're
I
absolutely
don't
right.
know. Here, we'll take this question too. How much
How
of an
much,
impact did? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
okay, how much of an impact did Diggs have on Allen's development as quarterback? I think a big one,
Hmm.
huge, because he allowed Josh to develop. Because Stefan Diggs, one of his great attributes, I think, is that he can ad lib out there, and he had that chemistry thing with Josh where he would know exactly where to go. And Josh is the kind of guy that's like, "Well, just run down there, and I'll throw the ball to
Right.
you." Right? And Diggs is
Exactly.
the type of receiver that can deal with that. Not all receivers are like that. Some are technicians, and they want to run their routes and they want to
The
be
scramble
precise
play.
about
Yes.
what they're doing. And so I think that was a big help, a big help for Josh. I think it helped him catapult to the point where, okay, I can do this at the NFL level. I can do
Hmm.
this. I can be successful. And I
Right.
think Diggs was a big part of that. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. I agree too. But
Next.
so the this roster that they will be putting out here in this 2024 NFL was old as hell, Robyn. And I think people are just fixated on names, right? Fixated on the name of a Jordan Poyer. I don't want to say Trey White was old, but he was getting up there. Um, you had Micah Hyde. Who else did we get rid of? Mitch Morse. I think the names, I didn't really want to get rid of Mitch, but I understood it. I think the names when it comes to this defense is just putting people in a way of, you guys are going to suck. You lost a
Mhm.
lot. You're not, there's no way that you're going to roll out in this defense with these guys gone and think you're going to have an impactful season on the defense side of the ball.
Well,
What do you
that's
say
what
to
you
that,
bring up,
Robyn?
the defense right there, because all those players you named, with the exception of Mitch Morris, were on defense. And we went from having a defensive backfield that was almost fossilized to we got some young players now, and we're going to be relying on them a lot. The roster was old on defense. I would say that it was much more so on defense than offense. And
Mm-hmm.
the reconstructed, and this kind of segues into the next thing that you were talking about, it got reconstructed with young people, but there's some guys out there on defense. They need to have a big year.
Yeah.
You brought it up. Rousseau, Von Miller, Oliver, Epinesa.
Yes. All of them. Like they picked up Russo's 5th year option. So it's time for Russo to step up. I know the previous years he's had injuries. He's played through them. Has it hurt him? Maybe. Maybe. I want to say he might have missed one game. But he needs to, if you want to say that you're that guy, he's great with stopping against the run. He's great
Yes.
with that, right?
Yes.
But he needs to step up. This is the time where we need to. And Russo is young. He was 19 when he entered with the Buffalo Bills in that COVID year. He was
Yes.
19. So he's still
Yes.
a young pass rusher.
Yes.
I like Russo. I need to see more. Like I need to see. These are the guys that I want to see in camp. Like I want to see a
Mhm.
Russo. What you're gonna what's your what are you looking like now? Like are you did you put on more? What I need to see you, right?
Yeah, that's going to be somebody we're going to eyeball closely. And I agree with you. And you're mentioning, excuse me, all these players are on the defensive line. And so, okay, we have this really young backfield, and now we've got a reconstructed defensive line. And let's not even, or let's do it. Let's get into the fact that we have one huge question mark on defense, and that's Matt Milano.
Right.
We don't know what we're going to see from Matt Milano. We don't know if Matt Milano is ever going to be the kind of Matt Milano that we knew before, because a tibial plateau fracture is a
Mm-hmm.
serious injury. And we can only hope that Milano has rehabilitated to the point where he can be, even if he's like, I would be so happy if he was 85 to 90% of himself.
Yes,
That's still as good as any other linebacker in the NFL,
absolutely,
as far as I'm concerned, because he's
absolutely.
smart.
Yeah.
He's smart, but he's the one for me that I'm going to be watching the most in training camp in terms of, okay, what do we got?
How is he moving? Like last year.
Yes.
Getting into this, Von Miller. How was
Yes.
Von Miller moving in training camp last year? He
And
had
this year,
us all fooled. Right. He had us all fooled that he was going to be ready week 1. Me personally, I was like, I don't really want you ready. I don't want you to be there at week 1. I'm good. Maybe game 6 or something like that. You're an older player coming off of that ACL injury. I need you to just chill out. You're not. I know your mind is like, I'm ready. I can do it. Then it came out that you said I shouldn't have been playing. So Vaughn, which Vaughn is it, Vaughn? Come on. I don't need a just talking Vaughn. Like you don't need to talk me up. If he knows anything about the Buffalo Bills fans, you don't just need to just talk to talk.
No BS.
We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need no.
BS.
Thank you, Robyn. No, we don't need no BS.
No.
We don't need that. Like, tell us. I mean, you don't have to tell us the truth, but just don't say anything at all. Like,
Amazing.
really.
Oh,
I think, but it's what I see when it comes to Vaughn. He doesn't have the knee brace on. He's cutting like he should. He's dipping more. Like, you can see Vaughn, the old Vaughn. Now I just want to see it on the field.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So
we need a big season from him.
We do. We don't have oh my gosh, the guy from the Rams that we got, Floyd.
Oh.
So we're going to need Vaughn now.
Yeah, Leonard Floyd.
And getting to my next person I need to see, AJ Epinesa. We don't have Floyd. So AJ, I'm going to need you to step up, buddy. You got that money.
Contract too. He got paid.
You got that money. He said he wanted to be a guy that the Bills rely on. He wanted to be the guy to make plays, to make sacks. I think he said double-digit sacks. So, I mean, don't put it out there. You're not going to do it.
Hold you to it. Going to hold you to it, AJ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Will Von Miller be the X factor? Did you see it? I don't know. On the defense?
Maybe.
I'm going to say this. I'll go out here and say this. I think the X factor might be AJ Epinesa.
That's a good one.
I think
that's a good one.
We've seen AJ.
Might be the X factor.
Who's that?
Oliver. Ed's ready. And if he finally has competent help next to him, other than Daquan Jones, which I'm sorry, I really like Jordan Phillips, but last year he did more harm to the team.
He couldn't stay healthy.
He didn't. But Ed is ready to shine. I read an article that I thought was interesting about Ed Oliver, and I don't remember who said this, but it was stated about him that he was an interesting person because he was a player who, when he got paid, really did not sit back and say, okay, I got my money. I'm good.
Yeah, no, he wanted to show.
He was the opposite.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I got paid. And you know what? I'm going to show every one of you that I'm worth it and more.
I think he wants to do it again this year, though, because I think these guys, okay, so for me, when it comes to the postseason, I think the guys just go flat. Like there's no one to be found. Like, where are you guys? Where is the defensive line? Like, Daquan Jones was a shell of himself. He was out there because he didn't want to let his guys down.
Exactly.
You know,
he's
no push on that defensive line. No push. Like, at some point, guys, and this is why I think they made a conscious choice and decision to go get the Dwayne Carters and we got a whole different depth.
We do.
And we're going to get into that in the training camps. But we have these players now. We have no longer Shaq Lawson. no Jordan Phillips, no Puna Ford, no Lynn Joseph, those guys. We don't have those guys no more. They made a conscious decision to go get younger and get some vets, but not vets on their last leg. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this defense. I really want to see what this defense and Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbage, what they're going to do, mold this defense into what they want this season. Another person I think we're going to need, Kaiir Elam.
Bingo.
We're going to need him.
Yep.
Because he's going to be that Dane Jackson. When things go wrong, because you know someone's going to get injured. If it's not going to be, who's our corners?
Well, Christian
Benford always gets injured. Let's be honest. He always gets injured.
He's a great player, and I love him. And I think if he can stay healthy, he could be a stud.
Yes.
But he's not proven that he can stay healthy.
Right.
So you better have Kaiir Elam ready to go.
And you got Russell Douglas, who's 31 years old, but he's still good. So we're going to need that third and fourth cornerback. Kaiir is a big year for him. This is going into his third season. We all know what happened between Butler and Kaiir. Wasn't great, but they said they're wiping the slate clean, and to them, this is rookie season per se for Kaiir. So right. I can't wait. And then we got Jamarcus Ingram.
That's who I forgot the name. Yes. Isn't he a University of Buffalo graduate?
Yes, he is. And he's still on a team. I met him. He's pretty cool. Yeah. So
UB.
Yeah. What's up, Sandra?
So glad you're here.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. No episode today, Sandra. My bad. We'll see you next week. But yeah. I don't know what else I have. What else did I have?
Joint practice.
Are you excited about joint practice?
Did you see how many teams? I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
Did you see how many teams are doing joint practices this year?
Yes, I got it
on One Bills Live. I was shocked.
I got it up here. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, wow, 20 something.
So they're all doing it, basically.
Yeah.
Most of the teams are doing joint practices, which I find very interesting. There must have been some analytics
gotta be
shown in the last couple of years. Joint practices are more effective because it's like, the NFL, it's a copycat league.
Yes. If I can get one over you, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
And I think we talked about this last year.
I like them.
I think we talked about this last year. If it wasn't you, it was me and Mike. That the Bills really don't do joint practices like that. And here this year, they're doing it, which I like it. I really, really like it.
The guys get tired and they get stale at training camp, and they need the mental stimulation of working out with another team.
Yeah. And then you can structure it.
Yep.
You can work on certain things that you want your guys to work on. And it won't be public. It's not for the public. It's for, it's a private scrimmage, or not a scrimmage, a private practice that won't be privy to us. But I mean, I like it for the players. I know there's concern of injury, but I personally, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think that Coach McDermott said one time that it was a matter of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is asking us, is 3 preseason games too many? Yes. I think 2.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If I can do 1 and then 1 joint practice, joint practice, I'll be fine. But I get at least 2. I mean, you have to see what these guys are. So I get it. And you don't want to roll in a player that you thought maybe looked good in practice, and then in the games you're like, maybe we should have cut this guy and kept the other guy. So I get why you need to see these
A
guys.
couple of them are fine, but you don't need more than that.
Yeah, I remember it was longer than that. It was what?
God, they had 6.
They had 6. 6 was too many.
But that was back in the day when guys didn't come to camp in shape. And now
yeah. They were in the off season for real.
Yeah.
And we had this last year. Sometimes teams get into fights and scrimmage and games and other. But you know what? Players on the team at training camp get into fights. Josh Allen got into a fight last year. So, not ideal.
Less than ideal.
But yes. One thing I did want to say, we are bringing back spilling the tea, right? Yeah. Not this episode, because I don't have no spill the tea.
We don't have anything to spill the tea about, but
we are, yes. When it's time, it's coming back. Spill the Tea will be returning next very, very soon in this season. And hey, if you want to sponsor Spill the Tea, just let us know. We're open for discussion. But so Chris had some questions up here, and we're going to get to some of them, and then we're gonna get out of here, because me and Robyn try to do a 30-minute pod, and it never works out. It never works out. But let me see. We did the thoughts on Diggs. Do I go up more? Why is it not letting me go up? Come on. Something's going on with my computer. All right, let me go here. How many? See, Chris just wrote something and it kicked me down. Here we go. Do you see it? No, you don't.
There we go. McDermott is 8th year in Buffalo. Do you feel he is on the hot seat? No, I don't think he's on the hot seat at all.
No, I mean, there is a lot of Buffalo Bills fans that after 13 seconds wanted Sean McDermott fired. I wasn't one of those fans. But do I think Sean McDermott right now is on a hot seat? No, because Sean McDermott, if he's fired right now, Sean McDermott can get a head coaching job or whatever. Maybe the next day if he chooses to.
I just don't understand. You can't expect that a rookie first-time head coach isn't going to go through growing pains. Andy Reid went through his growing pains with the Eagles. When he went to Kansas City, he was already a grizzled veteran head coach. And McDermott, it has taken him a while. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. Has he been a jerk at times? Absolutely. But he's learned. And the thing, I'll say this straight up, how impressive is it when you have a head coach that would be willing to sit down with a guy like Ty Dunn, who wrote a really scathing article about him? And McDermott had the guts and the wherewithal and the presence of mind to say, you know what, I need to talk with this guy. I need to find out what was going on. That tells you what kind of head coach Sean McDermott is. And that's the head coach I want. Mm-hmm. The guy that's learned from his mistakes.
For sure. And I think he has, and he's doing everything he can to not repeat those mistakes. Yeah. He brought in the guy, what is it, challenge guy, right? Mm-hmm. He brought that in. The reason why I don't think that he's on a hot seat this year is because the wide receiver room is who are you going to blame? If the Buffalo Bills somehow takes a backward spiral down, for me, it depends on how it happened. Mm-hmm. Defensive side, I don't see it either, because you have a new defensive coordinator.
And the defense is all reconstructed.
Right. So, I mean, this year he could probably get a pass because of a retooling season, to be quite honest.
Yep.
You know, I know there's a lot of homers out there that think the Buffalo Bills are going to go 13-4 or 14-3. Hey, I'm with you, you know. But reality is the Buffalo Bills are not as good as they were last year. That is the reality. They've removed a piece. Stephon Diggs was a major piece in this offense. Can it be replaced several times with several players? Maybe. We don't know. But to be quite honest with you, I don't see him being on a hot seat. Now, if you talk to me next season,
Butts
probably.
are off.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got to see how this season goes.
For sure. Chris agrees. I think he agrees. He agrees. Awesome. Yes, Reed left. Andy Reid left Philly. You're a Philly guy.
Yes.
Reed left Philly and became a Super Bowl champion. So, yeah, you know, if you're saying Sean McDermott leaves, he's going to be a Super Bowl champion, is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, all right. I don't know, but I think that's it. Like we're going into an hour. What do you want?
Too much. We blab too much, but I can't stop blabbing when I finally get a chance to be with you.
Absolutely.
So this was fun, and we're back on like every week schedule again, right?
Yes, we are.
Next Thursday, we're going to talk about training camp because we'll be on the doorstep of the real thing starting.
Yes.
And we'll have some information to talk about because the rookies are in now. So I'm sure there's going to be interviews and there's going to be some other things that we'll be able to talk about next week with respect to training camp. And I will be ready to talk about some things that I'm looking forward to from some of the rookies that we have drafted this year. So
yeah, I mean, again, he had asked about Keon Coleman. Our thoughts about Keon Coleman. I'll say this about Keon, and then Robyn, if she likes, she can say her thoughts about him. I have no expectations for Keon Coleman. I have none. He's a rookie. In the second round, maybe he would have went in the first round. Maybe he wouldn't. If he went in the first round, he wouldn't have been a Buffalo Bill. I think Keon this year, he might be the second or third option when it comes to Buffalo Bills. But we got him, and we're going to develop him. So that's my expectations for Keon, is just to catch the ball and be available for Josh, I guess. I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Robyn?
I have no expectations for him. I think that this regime has proven over time that they are wanting to take rookies slowly and develop them. They don't have a history of throwing rookies in and putting everything on their shoulders. Even with Dalton Kincaid, he was coming back from an injury, but they also eased him in. In the last half of the season, he played a lot more than he did in the first half of the season. And I think that might be what we see with Keon.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, all bets are off when Josh Allen is your quarterback, because they may have a game plan that says one thing. And if Josh sees Keon open a lot, can get the ball a lot,
absolutely. And again, this is coming from fans. Like, we are not in the building. And I know, here's the thing, Sal Capaccio is there. Like, he is in the know, right? So if he thinks that he might be an important factor in this offense, he might be an important factor in this offense. But it also comes down to trust.
Right.
And if Josh, and I know this, Josh trusts who he trusts. And if he trusts Keon, okay, fine. But if he trusts Dalton Kincaid, because he really do trust him. So it's going to come down to, ultimately, who do I trust to be open? Who do I trust if I'm doing a scramble drill? Who's going to be open? So, I mean, that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, we'll definitely see. We will definitely see. But that being said, guys, yes, we got to get out of here. And if you guys don't know, on next Tuesday, I'll be going on Chris's show. It's the CDP talk show.
With
at
Chris
2:00 with Chris. So check me out over there. I will post it so you guys can all see it. I don't know nothing, but people like to have me on. I'm just kidding. And Robyn was on
Yes.
last Tuesday. So
It was
go and
fun.
check her.
This is
Check her
wonderful,
out.
by the way. Check out
Yes.
his show. It's
Check
awesome.
his show out. It's really awesome. He interviews a lot of people. So
Oh
go
my
check
gosh,
him out.
yes.
I know I was
He's
on
been
his
around
feed.
for a long time too. So
Yeah.
he's somebody that it's very interesting to visit with him. His perspective is unique in many ways.
Definitely.
So thank you. So next
Yes.
week, and what do we always say before we leave?
Yes, we always say, well, wait. This has been Tea Time with Robyn. Thank you guys for tuning in. Always, it's always a pleasure for us to talk to you guys, and always a pleasure for you guys to listen. And like she always says, what do we always say? We say,
Go
go Bills.
Bills. Peace
Peace
out.
out, y'all.